the fish. Okay, so we're going to put the cotton on, if I can see. Not all the way up, about 2/3 of the way up. It's really can't see. Okay, just trap it down all the way back. Let's find some scissors. The nice thing about this is we're going to use rabbit zonker. If you've got a rabbit zonker with a little bit of color on the end, that's fine, that's great. You're going to select a couple of the guard hairs, you're going to pinch them, and you're just going to stroke some of the fluff back towards the leather part of the, can you see what I do there? Yeah. Towards the leather part of the fly, of the zonker. You can measure it 2/3 of the way up. I'm quite happy making a tail the same length as the rest of the fly. Specifically so if I want the fly to sink slowly, because it's going to give more resistance. If the fish are coming short on the fly, then you might want to tie a short tail, which is more in line with what people do. But I like a nice long fly, a long tail in this case. So I'll measure it out, pinch it, clip it off, come forward again, trap it down, if I can see. Okay, there it is, hopefully. You're going to have to excuse me, I'm really battling to see in this light. Okay, so quite often I'll put even more tail to that than that, but you must understand that's going to offer a bit of resistance and it's going to sink slowly. I'm going to use a thick copper wire. This is a medium. It's, when I say it's thick relative to this size fly, because I want the fish to actually be able to see this. So if you put a thin wire in, which is what people will normally do on a sort of a nymph body, it's going to be difficult to see. I want this to stand out. I want it to be a focal point of my fly so the fish can see it from a distance. Remember I said trout can't see that clearly. Shouldn't bite it with your teeth, by the way. Sorry, Mariki. Okay, just going to trap that in. You can trap it on the front if you want, like I've done. Or you can trap it on top, it doesn't really matter. I sometimes, with dealing with rabbit fur, it's static and it moves all over. And if you trap it in front like this and you pull it away, then it's out of your way and it doesn't get knotted up when you want to bring your tail. Did you see what I did there? I just pulled it away from the hook, so it's out of the way. Then I'm going to take that same zonker and the little bit of fluff that I left behind, I'm going to pull that out and that's going to be my dubbing. So I'm using one piece of material to tie the fly. So I've now matched my colors perfectly. Isn't that fantastic? I'm just going to, you can wet your cotton if you want to put your dubbing on. You can use wax. Dubbing, you can make a thin noodle all the way up and then you can go back and forth and work till you get that tapered body. Or you can make it thin to thick and just go once up the body. It's up to you. If you make it thin all the way along, noodle it, and you wind it onto the hook and you use a thin wire, the thin wire will stay on top of it because it's hard and it's compact. If you make a noodle that tapers, as you get thicker on the taper, it's softer, that thin wire will sink into the dubbing and disappear. So you can make your choices what you want to do, but also you can see another reason why I use the thick wire, because I want it to be visible. So we're just going to go to the back, hopefully, and we're going to go forward. Oh, I see. Really can't see. I never tie at night, I only tie during the day. So you see there, I've got a nice taper, like that. You can take off the excess. I've gone just 2/3 of the way up. You'll see I might even cover some of that off just now. Where's my... If you're worried about it falling off, you can just put a nice little whip finish in there. Pull the tail material away from it. And always slant it. my segmentation. 3 turns, 4 turns is enough, and then we can tie it off. Can you guys actually see what I'm doing? Because I can't. Has anybody got a white stick for me? You know he uses a white stick. A blind man. Okay. I have to use my scissors. No, I don't want to get the hook in my mouth. That's a bit closer. There's a bit of fluff in the way. We can just trim it out of the way. I'm not too worried about it. Flies don't have to be neat and absolutely 100% perfect. Like I say, the fish don't know. Again, for a bit of a focal point, I like to use a dubbing, say a UV dubbing or peacock dubbing. The reason for this dubbing is even when it's stationary in the water, it's catching light all the time. So it brings a bit of life to the fly. It's got a bit of movement, even though it's static, if you know what I mean. And it might even resemble something similar, like light shining through an insect. You got that translucent reflection. And I don't mind going back over what I did there a little bit, just to give me enough space in the front here to tie on my CDC. You can change cotton if you want. I've still got a olive cotton with a black. You can change color of the cotton, or you can take a koki and change the color of the cotton. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to whip finish that off and get it out of the way. So I'm going to use the red cotton to finish it off, because that's going to give me that look of a damsel. And I had a feather here. Okay, you got your CDC feather. You can put it the right way, that it's concave and it turns back. The way I do it, it doesn't really matter which way you put it, because you're going to tie it in and then you're going to tie the cotton over it to push it back again. Now you'll see here with the black that I've actually finished the black off in a straight line like this, so that when the feather sits against it, it sits like that and against it. So it's not tapered and like that, so it sits like that, so the material theoretically will pulsate and move a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? So any questions? You guys are very quiet. You make me nervous. Okay. The CDC, I just take the end bit of the CDC and I tie it in. To keep it simple, I push it back out of the way and trap it down. Now it doesn't come loose. There's nothing worse than it coming out. It might still, but not as often. People cut it off and they just got the thin stem, they tie it in and they pull on it and it's out. Unwrap it. No, just fold it back over itself. It doesn't come loose. If you're tying in CDC, if you're tying in a quill, you're tying in a flash, you're tying in a copper wire, if you trap it down, fold it back on itself, trap it down again, it's not coming loose. Okay. And now we're going to try and use the hackle pliers, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to take the cotton out of the way. Oops, I knew that was going to happen. Okay, let's try this again. How much you put on here is entirely up to you. Again, it depends. What do you want to achieve? If you really want to slow the sink down and you want a little bit more movement, put a bit more CDC. If you want it to sink a little bit quicker, put less CDC. Then we're just going to trap that down. Now you'll see I've done it very scruffily. It's actually really not tidy. Trap it down. Again, I pull that quill out of the way. I palm everything back. I'll finish it off, hopefully. Any loose bits if you do get them in the way. Okay. Guys, you're going to have to really excuse it. It's really not able to see what I'm doing. I'm actually just doing it by memory here. Okay. And then you got your little CDC that sticks up a bit and whatever. Then what you can do is to make this red bit a little bit more, that it sticks out and it doesn't come loose. This is my wife's because she stole mine. Yes, I missed the hook completely. Did you see that?
What is that, dude?
This is UV.
You can actually buy it at like Golden. It's like $80 for 2 of those things.
Really?
Yeah. And it comes with
I saw that before, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see well enough to do this in this light. If you've got any fine UV work to do, these pens are amazing.
It's come with a torch as well.
Yeah.